Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Indiana Association of College Admissions Counselors Virtual College Exploration Weeks. We will welcome you to this session tonight with Liberty University. Before we get started, I have a couple housekeeping items for you. First and foremost, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat box. As you may or may not know, your microphone as well as your video are both turned off, so the presenters cannot see or hear you. So the best way to ask your questions is through our chat function. If you love this session and want to learn about other institutions, please sign up for more options for you at this website on our screen here. It's inacac.org/virtual-college-exploration. Also located on that website will be a recording of this session. So if you know any friends who missed out, please encourage them to check out online this session as well as any others they may be interested in. Now, without further ado, I will pass it on to our presenter for the evening.
Well, good evening, y'all. My name's John Travis. I'm a national recruiter here at Liberty University. And what that means is that I do have the privilege of traveling all across the United States and telling students about Liberty University. To tell you a little bit more about myself, I graduated from the university in 2018 with my bachelor's of music. It was in commercial music with a focus in artist development. But during my senior year at Liberty, I did get married to my wife, Tony. We met in 2016 at Liberty in group piano, I believe, 4. So if you go into the School of Music, you can actually see the 2 pianos where we met. It was the last one available in the room. But enough about us. Let's start talking about Liberty University. Liberty University is one of the world's largest Christian universities. We are based in Lynchburg, Virginia, and we were founded in 1971. Our motto is knowledge aflame, but our mission is training champions for Christ. Therefore, our mission is ultimately you. Now at Liberty, we do offer over 200 degree programs, all somewhat different, and they're housed by 15 different schools and colleges. And so tonight, we're going to review just a couple of those. And what you're seeing now is a full list of our schools and colleges that we do offer. So our College of Arts and Sciences, osteopathic medicine, that's going to be our medical school. So for example, if you're looking to become a DO rather than an MD, this would be the program for you. Our School of Aeronautics, if you're looking to become a pilot, we have a program for that. Our School of Behavioral Sciences, Business, our School of Communication and the Arts, our School of Divinity, Education, Engineering, Government, Health Sciences, our School of Law, Music, and Nursing. And I'll dive a little bit more into these programs as we go throughout the evening. Now, one thing that we do recognize that as students, you all do want to feel seen, you want to feel heard, you want to feel understood, and you want to know and understand the information that's being provided to you. And so one of the ways that we make sure that, again, you feel seen and understood is by having our professors play a large part in that, in offering over 10 office hours each week. Again, you can sign up for these office hours and have the ability to go in and ask questions about assignments. Say, hey, why did I miss this necessarily on my homework? But also you have the opportunity to build relationships. One thing you're going to learn about Liberty University that's completely different from every other school you may be pursuing is that we do emphasize first off hands-on learning, but also relationship building. And so by offering 10 office hours weekly, we do provide our professors and you with the opportunity to build relationships that go beyond your education. Something else we want to make sure that you feel is heard. And so by offering smaller class sizes, we do emphasize that by having about a 21-to-1 student to professor ratio, where you do have the opportunity and maybe you don't feel stressed to ask questions in class. And so again, by reducing that class size, we do want to provide those opportunities to you. And I'll also say, looking at campus this fall, we're probably somewhere around 12,500 to 15,000 total students on campus because we are currently attending classes on campus as well as having visits on campus. As you get more so into your upper level courses and you hear that big number, it's okay. Typically, when you get, like I said, to your upper level courses, you don't have to worry as much about how many people are in your course. Something else that you might find interesting is that at Liberty, we do offer study abroad opportunities. And so what that may mean is you going as a School of Divinity student all the way to the Holy Land, to Jerusalem, and having the opportunity to walk where Jesus walked. Maybe it's going to New York with the School of Behavioral Sciences and practicing psychology. Maybe it's flying internationally with our School of Aviation. The opportunities really are endless. And so in partnership with our LU Send department, you do have the opportunity to study abroad. Now, I listed off all of our schools and programs, but tonight I want to take a couple minutes and emphasize some of the programs that we do have here at Liberty University. And the first I'm going to start with is our School of Business. It is our newest academic facility here at Liberty. It was opened in the fall of 2019. And like I said, students are currently attending classes here, but I want to emphasize a couple different areas. The first is going to be our Center for Cyber Excellence, Center for Financial Literacy, and our Center for Entrepreneurship. But like I said, we're going to emphasize our Center for Cyber Excellence first. And one way that we emphasize that is by having collaborative workspaces. Some of you may know that at least in the cyber excellence field right now, we're going through a major job crises where there's millions of jobs available that are honestly making big salaries, like over 6 figures. And so this would be an example of the collaborative workspace where we give those students the opportunity to work together. Now, Dr. Harper, who is the head of this program, has over 30 years in military IT and cybersecurity experience. One of my favorite stories that he's been known to share is he used to be a private contractor who would come in and help major organizations with their cybersecurity. And so an NBA organization, he wouldn't tell us which one, unfortunately, contracted him to do said job. And so he actually, if I remember the story correctly, broke into the facility, hacked into their Wi-Fi, like went across the street, hacked back into their Wi-Fi, and put a logo on the Jumbotron during the NBA game, just to show the organization, this is how bad your Wi-Fi is and how bad your cybersecurity is. And so we don't believe in doing this for malicious intents. We do have ethical hacking, coding, programming in mind. And so we want to better prepare you for the job market. The next area I do want to emphasize is our Center for Financial Literacy. One thing that is definitely in the media right now is the student debt crisis. And so in partnership with our Center for Financial Literacy, you'll have the opportunity to start writing budgets, to understand different types of loans, to really understand what a grant and a scholarship is. When we tell you it's free money, it's free money. And so we do want to make sure that there really is life for you after college. And so partnering with this program, you would have the opportunity to really know your money and give every dollar that you will make in your lifetime a job. So I strongly recommend getting in touch with our Center for Financial Literacy. And last is our Center for Entrepreneurship. And one thing that I love emphasizing when it comes to the Center for Entrepreneurship is going to be something that we call Spark Tank. Now, you might be sitting there going, John, that sounds an awful lot like Shark Tank. And that's because the idea is legit exact same. Any student on campus, no matter what degree program they're in, has the opportunity to actually come in and present a business project or idea. Then at the very end of the semester, the student who is considered to have the best and most well thought through business idea or project will actually receive a grant in order to pursue that project. And so you'll notice there, that might take some research. And at Liberty, we do have put a large emphasis on research, and we'll kind of talk about that as we go this evening. But that's a little bit about our School of Business. Now, I wouldn't be doing myself any favors if I didn't talk about the very school that I graduated from, the School of Music. It is the 7th largest school of music in the country. We have 3 different centers, including our Center for Performing Arts, our Center for Music and Worship, and our Michael W. Smith Center for Commercial Music. That would have been the program that I would have studied in. But let me break down the differences for you. The Center for Performing Arts. This is going to be more classical music. If you're going into instrumental performance or vocal performance, this would be your program. Center for Music and Worship is going to be for our students who are more interested in becoming worship leaders, worship pastors, worship artists. This would be a great program for them. And last but certainly not least is our Michael W. Smith Center for Commercial Music. This is for all of our students who are looking to become the next big thing. They want to be on the radio. They want to be a recording engineer or a producer. Like, that's their goal. And so this is going to be an example for Michael W. Smith Center for Commercial Music. I'll just call it for the Center for Commercial Music for the rest of the presentation. And this will be an example of our Mac Lab, where students do have the opportunity to work with the latest hardwares as well as softwares, including Pro Tools and Logic, and again, start to produce their own music. We do also believe in hands-on practical learning. And so this would be an example of one of the performances that we do have throughout the course of an academic year. Now, don't fear. Not many of these, if any of these, are happening at all right now because of COVID-19. We are still holding some performances, however, they're not as packed as this one is. We do want to make sure that we're keeping everybody safe. And so, like I said, students have the opportunity to memorize their musics and perform it in a variety of fashions. Now, this next piece I'm going to show you is, again, another form of that practical hands-on learning experience. It's going to more so show our Center for Music and Worship students who are practicing, and I believe this will be a junior worship jury, just putting everything they've learned into practice and doing it for a grade. Now, like I said, speaking from experience, honestly, this brings back a lot of memories because I have some of my favorite memories with some of my best friends, specifically ones who I've either been in their wedding or they've been in performances of mine and we've hung out after college. So this program really does, because of the structure of it, allow you to build key and quality relationships from the first moment that you start attending classes. So like I said, that's a little bit about our School of Music. Personally, love it a whole lot. It had a huge impact on me. Moving forward, one program I oftentimes love talking about is one that I think is one of our top programs in the country, and it's going to be our School of Nursing. Now, our School of Nursing, as well as our School of Engineering, are two academic facilities that we are in the process of having their own facilities made for them within the next 2 academic years. And this is an example, like I said, of our School of Nursing. And so again, through hands-on practical learning, this is Sam. He's a mannequin that allows our students to actually practice getting heart rates. And so with our nurses, we can't emphasize enough how important that hands-on learning is for these students. And so at Liberty University, we have a multitude of mannequins as well as simulation dummies where students are able to practice. But then also, we do believe in partnerships. And so by partnering with our College of Osteopathic Medicine, which we talked about earlier, which is where our med students study, and with our School of Nursing, we have the opportunity to provide these nurses as well as doctors with the opportunity to start working together to understand the relationship the two will have once they do finally reach their career fields. And so, you start thinking, all right, well, that might be like sophomore year. So what do they do when they get into their clinicals junior year? Well, at Liberty University, we do require that students have over 800 clinical hours in order to apply for graduation at Liberty University. And in the state of Virginia, one of the requirements in order to apply for licensure is having 500 clinical hours. I bet you're doing that math in your head right now. Yes, our students have over 300 additional hours to pursue licensure with. And so we do that again to put them in a better position and make them more competitive in an already incredibly competitive field. And because we do that, our pass rate for our NCLEX on a first-time basis is about a 92%. And our nurses aren't just going to like the regional hospital. They're going to major hospital organizations like UVA, VCU, Duke, Johns Hopkins, St. John's, just to give you an example of a couple. Personal friends of mine have gone and worked at major hospital systems in Wilmington, North Carolina, Duke University, like I mentioned, and even in Texas. Like I said, they're going to work at reputable hospital systems. And so with our School of Nursing in mind, again, because of the hands-on practical application, but also the rigorous process that we put you through to prepare you for life as a nurse, it really, like I said, is one of our top-notch programs at Liberty University. Now, another program that I oftentimes love talking about is our School of Aeronautics. And oftentimes I say, let's take a quick fly on by the School of Aeronautics. And in this case, our School of Aeronautics is the top aviation program in the country. From 2017 through 2019, and I believe even to this last year, we were the recipient of the Loaning Trophy. And the Loaning Trophy or award is granted to the top aviation program in the country. And so this is going to be an example of one of our planes that we have that is probably flying into now, meaning landing, at Lynchburg Regional Airport. Now, like I said, Liberty is located in Central Virginia, specifically Lynchburg, and we do have a regional airport about 1.5 miles to 2 miles away from campus. And so that airport is the second most used airport in the Commonwealth of Virginia behind Dulles International. And so if that tells you anything about how much our pilots are taking off and touching down, it should tell you they're doing it a lot. Now, say that you don't want to be in the air or the weather's bad one day. We do have a lot of simulation opportunities. Again, with aviation in mind, you do play a lot into the weather. And so we do emphasize that our students have a lot of opportunities. So again, by having those simulations, we do give them the opportunity to fly when maybe the weather's not the greatest. Now, say that you're not necessarily interested in flying and you want to keep your feet on the ground. We have a couple different options for you there. The first one is going to be by flying some of our UAS, or unmanned aerial systems, or for lack of better terms, drones. And so we have a couple different programs where if you want to go in the military to fly drones, you could definitely do that. But this is just a quick example of doing that. Now, something else that we do offer at Liberty University that's special to us is we do offer a 12-month aviation maintenance technician program where you can receive all of your necessary flight mechanic courses, as well as all the certifications that you'll need. And you can actually almost step directly into the job market immediately after passing those courses. Now, when you talk about job placement, I personally have a friend who's flying for a regional airline right now. Like I said, he's a great friend of mine. And so that's just one story. There's another guy that I went to high school with. He's actually flying for a major organization already. And so I can't stress enough, if you're interested in becoming a pilot, we're actually about to go through a 20-year deficit of not having enough pilots because they're all starting to age out. So if you're really thinking about aviation, Liberty is going to be your place. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we are one of the world's largest Christian universities. So how can I not talk about our School of Divinity? What you're seeing here is our Freedom Tower. The Freedom Tower is home to our School of Divinity, and honestly, the largest School of Divinity in the world. And so in this tower, we are training the next generation of pastors, of women's leadership majors, of camp and outdoor and adventure leadership majors, and students who really do have the opportunity to go into all the nations and preach the gospel. And so all of our students have that opportunity, but these are the students who are diving straight into that and feel that strong call to ministry. And so as you can see here, we do believe a lot, again, in practical, hands-on learning experience. And so by giving students the opportunity to teach or to preach from the front of the classroom gives them the opportunity to practice, posture, how they may phrase certain things or what inflections they might use. Then we also believe, like I said, in very real artifacts. And so in this case, this is an example of our scriptorium, our Raleigh scriptorium, that has over $1 million worth of literature. And some of the examples of the literature you'll be able to see in here is, a King James Bible, I believe, from the year 1613, a Geneva Bible. We even have the world's smallest Bible. I don't know if you would want to read that, but something else that we would have in here is going to be Elvis's Bible. So if you want to learn about the king from the king, you might want to check that out. But again, just having those real resources available to our students. And something else I always love talking about is our classrooms. One of our classrooms that's not structured like this is I believe it's a 7-wall, 180-degree view where we have it's a 7-projector, 180-degree view where we can project images and locations onto the wall to give our students the opportunity to go straight into an area. So for example, if we want to take them to the Holy Land to make the story kind of jump off the page that we're talking about, or the parable jump off the page and help them understand it a little bit more, we have that opportunity to. And so by utilizing, I would say, very advanced technologies, we do have those opportunities. So that's a little bit about our education at Liberty University. If any of you here have a question, I'm going to grab a quick sip of water. Just go ahead and drop any questions in the chat. All right. So I've talked a whole lot about our academics at Liberty University. So the next thing that I want to talk about is our athletics. At Liberty University, I may have mentioned earlier, we are a Division I school. We do offer over 20 NCAA Division I sports, including football, basketball, baseball, softball, soccer, track and field, cross country, just to name a couple. And a lot of those sports are either men's sports, so for example, football and then baseball, and then some are just women's sports. So for example, I think I didn't mention volleyball, but softball would be another one. And so in this case, I did mention football. And I love talking about football because in 2019, we did win our first bowl game, the Cure Bowl against Georgia Southern, casual. And then this year, we actually are in the ESPN Top 25 Power Rankings, started our season 5-0. And we just beat Syracuse, again, casual, nothing too big a deal. But say that you're not looking to compete at the Division I level. That's okay. Nothing wrong with that. We do also offer 40 club sports teams. And as you can see in the top right-hand corner, we do offer ice hockey. So that's going to be a couple different divisions. So we have, I think, 3 teams each for both men's and women's. We have a lacrosse program, esports program, ultimate frisbee, disc golf would be another example of one of those programs. And then if you're not looking really to compete at like the club sports level, but you are looking to compete kind of like at the intramural level, we do offer 20 plus intramural sports. Now, if you're looking for more information on any of these sports, I would recommend going to www.libertyflames.com. My apologies, I kind of get into autopilot on that one. Like I said, that's a little bit about sports. And so we hope to see you on campus one day. And remember, be early, be loud, and wear red. Now, when we talk about dining and housing on campus, I'll start with dining first. Recently, we have been rated #1 in the United States for 2 years in a row because of our dining services. And then looking towards the 2021 year, we are set to receive a top 20 rating again. So again, receiving those high accolades for our dining facilities. Now, that would be because of Sodexo. They're our main company that handles our dining. With over 20 dining locations, our students, or 20 dining stations in our main dining hall at Reber Thomas, our students never go hungry. But then because of a lot of our retail options, our students still, again, never go hungry. And so we do have 4 Chick-fil-A's within a 5-mile radius of campus, one of those being on campus. We have 3 Dunkin' Donuts on campus, as well as 2 Starbucks. And then as you can see on the screen right there, we do have an Einstein Brothers Bagels. We have a Pizza Hut. There's another one I always love pointing out. Baskin Robbins is another great one. So just a couple different options to keep you full and not thirsty at all times. Now let's talk housing. We have been rated #9 in the US, and then also in the state of Virginia, we're #1. So #9 in the US, #1 in the state of Virginia because of our 3 housing styles. The first one is going to be our classic dorm room style. That's again that long hallway, 2 to 3 people per room with communal bathrooms. Now, I can't emphasize this point enough. Communal bathrooms, now somebody else cleans them and provides toilet paper. In a COVID world, somebody else providing toilet paper matters. Just something to think about. Then we have our apartment style, which is like a 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom apartment. Typically, I do recommend this for upperclassmen, but if you have a solid group of friends that you're going to come to Liberty with, go for it. This one does have a full kitchen in the unit, as well as a washer and dryer. So there's definitely some better amenities there. Because it's still on campus, but it's kind of like across the way, we do put those kitchens in there. But please do note that all residential students who live on campus do have to have a meal plan. And then finally, the last style of housing that we do have is going to be our hotel style. This is the one you're seeing in the bottom right, and it's for our commons dorms. Now, this housing style is very much so like a hotel room. 2 people per room. You can control your own heating and air inside your room. You'll have your own private bathroom that you have to clean and provide toilet paper for. I'm telling you, this is going to matter in a COVID world. But again, because of those 3 dorm styles, we have been rated #9 in the United States. Then for diversity purposes, I believe our male to female ratio is about a 42% male, 58% female, but we are represented by all 50 states and over 70 countries. So you're guaranteed to meet someone from somewhere you've never been. I'm a testimony to that. I'd never been to Wisconsin before, and then I met my wife. So now let's talk about how we have fun on campus. We've talked so much about academics. We've talked about food. We've talked about staying on campus. So how do we have fun? Let's start at the top left with the snowflake, because that represents snowflakes. It's one of the only places like it on the East Coast because it is year-round skiing, snowboarding, and tubing. I would hope, because we have an ice hockey rink, or we have an ice rink, that we'll be getting curling soon, but that's to be determined. But like I said, it's a year-round skiing, snowboarding, and tubing lodge where students can go up and hang out. Then in the bottom left, we do have our coffee cup. That represents coffee house. Coffee house is put on by our student activities department. And if you have the opportunity in late November, early December, go to @LibertySA on Instagram. We will actually be showing our coffee house virtually this year, again, to promote social distancing, as well as keeping our students safe. Then in the middle, you can see our LaHaye Rec and Fitness Center, which is just one example of the workout facilities that we have across campus. Another location we have is called David's Place, and then the Montview Student Union, which is built by our Student Government Association. We do have a game room, as well as a 6 or 8 lane bowling alley that our students can take part in. But again, that's all housed by our LaHaye Rec and Fitness Center department. But in this main facility, you have just about everything that you could want, from a cardio loft to a CrossFit loft to a 9-lap track to a 4 racquetball courts to 7 basketball courts that can be transitioned to volleyball courts, to an indoor, I believe it's Junior Olympic size swimming pool with a hot tub, 2 indoor soccer fields. So anyways, I always say, you tell your friends, hey, I'm going to the gym. I'm going to go to the gym. See you guys later. Grab your swim trunks, go to the hot tub. They don't have to know. And then finally, on the far right, we do have Convocation. It is it is the largest weekly gathering of Christian young people in the world. Obviously not right now, because we are asking the students to wear masks and maintain social distancing guidelines on campus. And so this event is currently being held virtual, but we do give speakers like Simone Biles, Steph Curry, Steve Forbes, and more the opportunity to get on our stage and just speak to our students. And we try and give our students the opportunity to hear from people they wouldn't normally have the opportunity to hear from. So we talked about food, fun, academics. Let's talk about the admissions process here at Liberty University. Step number 1 is just submitting your application. It's as easy as that. And I'll give you an opportunity to do that later on. But just so you guys know, for the spring, summer, and fall 21 semesters, we are currently test optional. We're not test blind, we are test optional, meaning that if you haven't taken your SATs or your ACTs because of COVID-related reasons, we understand. Just reach out to us and let us know. However, if you have taken them previously, please submit them. I'll explain that more as we get into the cost of college. Now, your second step is going to be getting accepted, and that'll be after we have all of your official high school transcripts. We have any of those standardized test scores if we have them, and then submitting your admissions essay. Now, before you sit there and go, John, an admissions essay? Really? It's okay. The admissions essay is legit only like 100 to 150 words. You got this. Just write the prompt. It's super easy. So easy. You got this. And then we'll actually partner with you to complete the 3rd and 4th steps. Now, maybe you're sitting there going, well, do you have hard admissions requirements? Or do you have I need this in order to get in? Oh man, we really do want to evaluate you as a whole. So for example, we want to see your trends of grades. We want to see your scores. We want to see your admissions essay. We want to see what your character and reference letters have to say about you. We want to get to know you, and so that we can invest in you and in your future. And so when we look at your high school GPA, that's going to be unweighted. And then as we look at your SAT or your ACT scores, always know we're going to super score them and give you the best possible opportunity. And also that'll matter, like I said, a little bit later when we talk about the cost of college. Now, as a student at Liberty, we want to make sure that you feel supported academically, mentally, spiritually, and with your future in mind. And so in partnership with the College of Applied Studies and Academic Success, we do offer peer review as well as tutoring. So what does that mean? That means that you, if you're having trouble in a class like Accounting 211, which is incredibly difficult, and that's okay, but it's incredibly difficult, you'll have the opportunity to meet with an upper class business student who may know how to explain things a little bit differently and kind of break it down. Personally, I love the phrase, explain it to me like I'm 5. It might be a little degrading, but if you can explain it to a 5-year-old, you should probably be able to explain it to me. And so again, by utilizing those peer review and tutoring opportunities, you do have the opportunity to have someone else spend some time with you to understand that. Maybe that's additionally in addition to, like I said, those 10 office hours we talked about earlier. Then we do also have a testing center. This would be for our students who say you go home early for Christmas break, or you miss a test because you're sick, or you broke your leg. I don't know. You can have your professor send your tests there again to administer those tests. But also, it is a registered testing center. So for example, if you want to take a CLEP exam, which I strongly encourage, where you can take a exam to test your knowledge on a subject that you'll have to take for college, but you pay it for a fraction of the cost. It's a great hack. CLEP, C-L-E-P. I strongly recommend you look it up. But also, this is, like I said, a registered testing site. So for example, if you're looking to pursue something in pre-med, pre-PT, pre-vet, pre-law, which by the way, we offer all of those programs. This is a testing center where you can take those tests. So for example, your GRE, your MCAT, your LSAT, just to give you a couple. We can help you out with those tests. Now, with your future in mind, we have a career center. The career center, as I've learned recently, plays a massive part in your future, because what they do there is they do offer cover letter, as well as resume writing workshops, as well as critiques. They offer mock interviews, so they'll sit down with you and they'll ask you questions that they know employers are asking right now. But they also offer career-specific career coaching, as well as fairs. So let me break that down for you. Each of our career coaches has extensive experience in the field that we'll be helping you out with. So if you're looking to go into nursing, they have a career coach for that. If you want to go into accounting or law, I actually know the guy who you'll be working with. He's super funny, but we have somebody for that. For music, we have somebody for that. For law, for government, for English, like you name it, we have a career coach for that, and we want to get you placed with them. But again, I can't emphasize this enough, because these career coaches will also help set you in a place to get you into internships, so that when you leave college, you're leaving with a job in hand. And that's kind of where our career specific fairs step into place, is because they're getting you ready to walk into a room full of employers who want to hire Liberty University students like you, and they want to give you the opportunity to come and work for them. And so I recommend coming literally your first semester, if not within your first 2 weeks at Liberty University, getting partnered with your counselor or your coach and starting to work with them and really build a plan on how you can thrive in life after college. And finally, in partnership with our Center for Health and Wellness, we do emphasize the 9 areas of wellness. And again, I mentioned it earlier, and we want to emphasize the areas of emotional, mental, and spiritual wellness, and with your mental health and your spiritual health in mind. And so we emphasize that by offering student counseling services in partnership with our Office of Spiritual Development. You know, if you're not taking care of yourself, everything will fall to bits. And we want to make sure that, again, at the end of the day, you are being taken care of. So that's how we want to support you. Now let's talk about the cost of college. Liberty University is a private university. That means we control the cost of college. And at Liberty University, we are in the lower 25% of all private universities when considering the cost of college. So if we're talking hard numbers, our tuition is about $23,800 per academic year, not semester, year. That's the total cost for the year. Then the wholesale sticker price, let me slap the top of the car, it's about $34,500, but that's before any form of financial aid. Now, when I say financial aid, your mind may have immediately went like, loans. No, that also means grants. That means scholarships, whether merit-based or need-based. That means outside scholarships. So local businesses that you don't know offer scholarships. We help in partnership with our student accounts office, and with that office and with that business, we help facilitate outside scholarships to work with you to fight the cost of college. So over 96% of our students do receive some form of financial aid. Now, like I said, yes, that does mean loans, but that also does mean scholarships like the Liberty Academic Scholarship that you're seeing at the top of your screen, where in partnership with your unweighted high school GPA and then your SAT or your ACT super score, we can award you anywhere from a $1,500 all the way up to a full tuition academic scholarship, just because we want to reward you for the work that you've put in during your high school years. Another example of a scholarship that we would offer is going to be our Middle America Scholarship. And so when you fill out your FAFSA, which, by the way, your FAFSA open on October 1st, 2020, get to it if you haven't already, in partnership with your EFC or your estimated family contribution, and then your FAFSA, we get the EFC. And so what that allows us to do is see how much your family can contribute to your college experience. And so through the Middle America Scholarship, as well as the Pell Grant, let's say that based on your EFC, I love using visual examples for this. Let's say this is your Pell Grant and you can only receive 28 fluid ounces of your Pell Grant for that academic year. Well, the Middle America Scholarship is created to help you fulfill the rest of that Pell Grant. So again, we are working with you to help fight the cost of college. Now, you might be saying, well, John, I'm not going to receive that anyway. There's another need-based scholarship that we offer, and it's specifically to Liberty University. It's called the Champion Award. The Champion Award, I believe, can help you secure, I believe the number is $8,000 over the course of your academic career at Liberty University. And we set the threshold on that number. So even though we use the EFC to see how much you could receive, we set the number on the Champion Award. So there's a great chance that you'll be receiving that as well. Now, say that you need to do some additional work to help fight the cost of college. We do also offer work study as well as student work positions on campus. Now, say that you look at that Liberty Academic Scholarship and then it's like easy peasy, I got that all day. Let's talk about the honors program. To apply for the honors program, you would need to visit www.liberty.edu/honors. This will tell you more about how to apply. Let's talk about the standards of it. In order to apply for that program, you need to have at least a 3.5 unweighted high school GPA. And then you would also, looking at that chart, need to fit in with a 1330 SAT, again, super score, or a 29 ACT super score. Now, I will say, while you are receiving $4,000 more per academic year, it is a lot more work. Like, honors programs are always more work. But again, we want to reward you for the hard work that you're doing. We believe in honoring students and honoring their work and allowing them to excel and rewarding them when they do excel. So those are a couple of scholarship opportunities, but if you do want to learn a little bit more about our general scholarship rule and other scholarships we offer at Liberty University, visit www.liberty.edu/scholarships. Now, one thing that we haven't talked about today is visiting us. So looking at the very far right, we have our virtual tours. The virtual tours are your opportunity to stay safe at home but still see our campus. I can't emphasize it enough. If you're not comfortable leaving your state or wherever you are, that's okay. We're all in a different place, but if you personally don't feel comfortable, our virtual tour is going to be one of the greatest options for you because we want you to still experience campus life and get to chat with one of our student tour guides. Now, if you're feeling comfortable and you're ready to leave home and you want to come see campus for yourself, we have our Tour LU. And like the virtual tour, it's just a full tour of the campus. You're going to get to see what we're really all about at Liberty University and get an in-depth experience. Now, if you're looking for more of a full day event, I recommend Experience LU. It's a full day. Plan on being there from I'd say 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. or hours similar to that because you're not going to want to leave campus. That day, you're going to get a full tour of campus. Sometimes we do program specific days, so be on the lookout on our website for that. I'll tell you that website in just a second. Full tour of that school. You're going to be fed lunch. I've never turned down a free lunch. I hope you wouldn't either. It's probably me Chick-fil-A. But you'll have a short admissions presentation while you eat lunch. You're going to have the opportunity to meet one-on-one with one of our admissions counselors. But one of my favorite parts is that you're going to have the opportunity to go back to the faculty and staff of the program that you're interested in and ask them questions about research. You know, we are a liberal arts school, but we have a huge emphasis on research. So what research projects are you guys going to be starting during Research Week, April 21st through 25th, 2021, that would entice me to join you as a student? What degree programs are you starting that may not be advertised yet, but that I could be a part of? How would I thrive as a student here at Liberty University? Write those questions down because, like I said, you're going to have the opportunity to ask our faculty and staff those questions. And last but certainly not least is a personal favorite of mine. It's easily one of our most popular, and it's called College for a Weekend. And it's your opportunity to come and in previous years, it was a 4-day, 3-night experience where you could come to Lynchburg and be a college student for the weekend. Like I said, in a non-COVID world, you'd stay in the dorms, eat the food, and go to the class. But right now, we are emphasizing everyone's health, and we're adjusting it a little bit. So we're offering it for free. However, you would have to make off-campus accommodations. You would still be able to see the dorms, like model dorm rooms. You'd be able to go to the classes as well as eat the food, but you wouldn't be able to stay on campus. Now, my knowledge of this is not abounding because it is still undergoing some construction and readjustment right now. So for any of these visit opportunities and to register to come see campus for yourself or to see it online, go to www.liberty.edu/visit us. Well, that's a lot for today. Maybe you're sitting there going, you've given me a whole lot to think about. That was a whole lot. Oh my goodness. And maybe you're at a point also where you're like, I'm ready. But I'm going to pose you another question. Are you ready to get more information? Or are you ready to take that first step in the admissions process? There's no right or wrong answer with where you're at. Honestly, I encourage you, take some time. Think about what you want to do. I'm not expecting you to have the rest of your life planned out. That would be foolish of me. You are in some of the best years of your life, and I strongly encourage you to make the most of every minute that you have. But if you think this is the place for you, I'd encourage you to scan this QR code. What it's going to do is give you the opportunity to fill out one of 4 tabs, but really for your purposes, you only need to look at 2. The first one is going to say application on the far left. The second one's going to say residential. Maybe you're at this place when you say, you know, John, I think I'm ready to get more information. I'm not ready to take that first step in the admissions process, and that's okay. What you do is you'll take that tab, fill out the tab that says residential. Fill it out. It's got a lot of general information, and we'll send you some more emails. But maybe you're like one of those students who's ready to say, yes, I think I want to take this first step. I'm going to pause real quick because I love drawing an analogy on that first step. And oftentimes I compare it to a first date. Why? Because on a first date, typically you get something for free. And then also you're not committing to anything beyond that. You're like, we're just going out for coffee. Like, this isn't forever. And that's exactly how it is here at Liberty University. We're giving you something for free, and that's a free application. So we're waiving the typical $50 application fee, but also we're saying that there's no you are not committing to us. There's no commitment here. We just want to see you thrive. I think Ed, one of our admissions representatives here at Liberty University, says it best. We would rather see you somewhere else in God's will than here not in God's will. And so maybe you're saying that this is it. Like I said, your first step in the admissions process is scanning that QR code. Once you've scanned it, you'll go to the tab on the very far left that says application. There will be a green button. Click apply now. It's going to auto-populate some of that information, including the degree program that you're in. But the first question that should come up is your intended academic year. Now, regardless of what grade you're in, save this QR code or text 49596 using the word JT. Save this link. This link does not expire. It's not set just to this event. If you want to use this down the road in like 3 months, you can. So like I said, you'll click on that green button, it'll auto-populate, and then you can select the semester in which you're interested in. So like I said, it will update as we go. So for any of my sophomores who may be watching this, in your second semester, you will have the opportunity to fill that out. So for the purposes of the time that we're in right now, for my sophomores who will be entering their second semester in spring of 2021, you'll have the opportunity to apply for fall of 23 at that time. So that's a lot of information. So maybe now you're sitting here going, give me a lot to think about, man. I don't know what to do. Well, shoot me an email. My email's right there, jrtravis@liberty.edu. Like I said, I've lived the Liberty experience. I've lived here my entire life. But ultimately, I'm here to invest in you. I'm here to help you as you guide yourself and your parents work with you. We're all here to help you navigate the next couple of months of making one of the biggest, most life-changing decisions you'll ever make. And we want to make sure you're informed about the decision that you're making. So please don't hesitate to email me or ask me any questions. I would love to be more than available as you navigate this next decision. So thank you so much for your time. I do appreciate you all being here, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you so much, John, for your presentation. For all the students that were joining us this evening, thank you as well for watching and listening to the presentation today. We have lots of more sessions available to you. You can sign up online. In a moment, let me show you the screen so you can know where to go. But if you go to our website, inacac.org/virtual-college-exploration. You'll be able to sign up for more sessions, but also while you're there, you'll be able to see other recorded sessions that are available to you. Thank you all so much for joining us this evening. Have a wonderful night. Bye, John.